On our recent trip to Lake Superior, we stayed at Black River Harbor campground. And it's a National Forest campground, and as you go out to it, the road runs parallel to the river. And I believe there are 4 different pull-offs, scenic overlooks, where you can pull over and hike over to the river and see waterfalls. And we had done that. And also while we were there, I got my kayak out, and I actually did paddle out beyond the breakers and was on Lake Superior. I was never more than about 20 feet from land, but still, it was kind of, this is something I've heard of all my life and really never thought I would be there and see it, so it was just really cool. But I mostly stayed in the harbor and would paddle up the river and back down some. And there in the harbor, there's a boardwalk, and where boats are tied up. And then on the boardwalk, there are some just picnic tables and benches for people to come down and enjoy just sitting there at the river. And so MiLena had gone down and was on the boardwalk watching me play on the river. And I had paddled over to the boardwalk to sit and visit with her for a minute. And when I stopped paddling, I noticed I was drifting upriver. And I thought, that's weird. That's impossible. I was just up there. I've seen the waterfalls. The river is flowing into Lake Superior. This can't be happening. Now, you got to remember, I'm from Central Texas. This is a big lake for us. I've never lived on large bodies of water. And it wasn't until after we'd gotten home that I realized Lake Superior is actually considered an inland sea. It has tides. And so at high tide, the river flows upstream. And as I had paddled upstream, I had seen a place where it looked like there were sort of rapids. And I realize now that's where the water was coming downstream from the waterfalls, and the water was going upstream from the tides, and it was churning that water. I didn't get near it. I could see there was a disturbance, and I just stayed away. Well, that could have been a dangerous place, and especially if I wasn't in a kayak. But at any rate, it could have been really dangerous to get to where that was coming together. But as I sat and visited with MiLena, I decided I'll just reach over and grab hold of one of these cleats, and it will keep me here where I can talk to her and not have to constantly paddle back down here. And so I just hung on to that cleat, and we visited and talked back and forth. Then I went out and played around some more. But as I've thought about it, that's really a good illustration of what happens in our lives. A friend of mine always said, and I loved this saying, and that is, what I think doesn't matter. What's important is, what does the Bible say about this topic? And in our lives, if we are not anchored to the Bible, if we are not holding fast to the truth of that word, there are unseen forces like that tide that may come in the form of social media or news broadcast or current culture that are going to try and push us away from that truth. And if we are not vigilant, we can get into those waters that are tumultuous. We can put ourselves in a dangerous situation. So the reminder for me is to be sure that I'm holding fast to the truth of God's Word.